Dressage is facing a problem that it cannot ignore. Olympic medalist Laura Tomlinson has recently said something that many riders have been thinking for a long time, but very few have been willing to say out loud. She has warned that if the public does not like what they see, they have the power to shut down equestrian sport. The issue is not about one scandal or one rider. It is about the system itself. There is something changing in dressage right now, and it is not happening in the arena. It is not about higher scores, more expressive movement, or better breeding. It is about how the world is beginning to see the sport. For a very long time, dressage existed in a space where it was largely understood only by the people inside it. Riders, judges, trainers, and officials all operated within the same system, spoke the same language, and trusted the same traditions. That shared understanding created a kind of protection around the sport. However, that protection is no longer as strong as it once was. Today, dressage is being watched by a much wider audience. Many of these viewers are not part of the sport, and they are not concerned with technical explanations if what they are seeing does not look right for the horse. They are not asking whether something is correct within the rulebook. They are asking whether it looks fair, whether it looks humane, and whether it reflects true harmony. This shift changes everything because dressage is no longer judged only by judges. It is being judged by the public. Laura Tomlinson's message is important because she is not speaking as an outsider. She is an Olympic medalist who has competed at the highest level, and she understands both what dressage is supposed to represent and how it is currently perceived. Her warning is direct. If the public loses confidence in what they are seeing, the future of the sport is at risk. For decades, dressage has relied on tradition as a form of protection. The sport has been built on classical principles, with an emphasis on harmony between horse and rider. In many cases, that ideal is still present. However, the problem is not what dressage claims to be. The problem is what it sometimes looks like. The modern audience does not judge intent. It judges what it sees. When viewers observe tension, resistance, or discomfort, those impressions shape their understanding of the sport, even if those moments can be explained within the system. The visual impression remains powerful. Once doubt enters the conversation, it spreads quickly. Laura Tomlinson draws attention to this issue by focusing not on extreme cases, but on everyday systems that have become normalized. She describes a situation in which a horse had just competed its first Grand Prix freestyle. This should have been a moment of relief and reward after a demanding performance. Instead, the horse was taken to an isolated area for anti-doping testing. The purpose of the rule is to protect fairness in the sport, but the experience for the horse was not considered in the same way. The horse was removed from its familiar environment and separated from other horses. It was placed in a situation that caused stress and confusion. Because of that stress, the horse was unable to urinate within the required time frame, and a blood sample had to be taken instead. No one involved in this situation intended harm. The officials were following the rules, and the procedures were carried out correctly. However, the outcome still created unnecessary stress for the horse. This raises an important question. If everyone is following the rules, and the result is still not in the best interest of the horse, then the system itself needs to be examined. Tomlinson asks why the horse could not have returned to its own stable, where it would have felt more relaxed while still being monitored. The testing process could have remained secure, and the integrity of the system would not have been compromised. The only difference would have been a reduction in stress for the horse. This example reflects a broader issue within dressage. Rules are often followed because they exist, rather than because they are continually evaluated and improved. Dressage has always valued precision and correctness, but is now being asked to consider perception as well. Public perception plays a significant role in shaping the future of the sport. Most people do not read rule books or technical guidelines. They watch horses and they form opinions based on what they see. When something does not look right, those concerns are shared and amplified. Social media allows these conversations to spread quickly, often reaching audiences far beyond the equestrian community. We have already seen how rapidly public opinion can influence a sport. Trust can be damaged in a very short amount of time, and rebuilding that trust is extremely difficult. Laura Tomlinson is not calling for outrage. She is calling for responsibility. She is encouraging riders and trainers to reflect on their own practices and to consider whether they are truly acting in the best interest of the horse. The most significant problems are often not the obvious ones. They are the practices that feel normal because they have been repeated for so long. Dressage is now at a point where it must decide whether it is willing to examine those practices honestly. At its core, dressage is meant to represent harmony. It is meant to show a horse that is willing, relaxed, and confident in its work. However, harmony cannot simply be described. It must be visible. If a horse appears tense or uncomfortable, the explanation does not carry the same weight as the visual impression. This is why the current moment is so important. Dressage is no longer evaluated only within the sport. It is being observed and judged by a global audience. The audience sees the horse first. It sees how the horse moves, how it reacts, and how it is treated both during and after performances. Responsibility for change cannot rest solely within governing bodies. While rules and policies are important, meaningful change can happen at the level of the rider. Riders and trainers make decisions every day that affect the welfare of their horses. They are in the best position to recognize signs of stress and to respond appropriately. If dressage is going to move forward, it must move beyond relying on tradition alone. It must be able to stand up to scrutiny and demonstrate that the welfare of the horse is the highest priority. Laura Tomlinson's message is ultimately about the future of the sport. The public plays a crucial role in determining whether equestrian sport continues. Their perception influences support funding and acceptance. If that support is lost, the consequences could be significant. This is why the conversation about change is necessary. It cannot be delayed or dismissed. The sport already has the knowledge required to improve. There is a greater understanding of horse behavior, stress, and welfare than ever before. The question is whether or not improvement is possible. The question is whether it is being prioritized. Dressage is at a crossroads. It can choose to evolve, to question itself, and to adapt in a way that strengthens both the sport and the welfare of the horse. Or it can continue as it is and risk being forced to change by external pressure. Change is already happening. The only question that remains is whether dressage will take responsibility for that change or whether it will wait until it no longer has a choice.